Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. And for viewers of the channel, you may recognize the scene behind me as not being Nebraska. No, Aloha. I'm here in Hawaii. I have some photos. I landed in the plane and email had some photos of the refreshed Ram 1500. Looks like it's going to get a facelift. We can talk some details in the video. But I thought before I get very far, I'd show you guys. Yeah, that's Hawaii. That's actually a volcano up there, and I have some beads on. Yeah. So pretty cool setting. I'm doing the Toyota Grand Highlander drive and the Toyota Tacoma first look later on this week. So if you're a fan of the channel, stick around for that because lots of good stuff coming. But let's talk about Ram for a second. I know. Let's talk about this half-ton truck. I was blown away when it first came out, and the fifth generation came out in January of 2018 at North American International Auto Show for two reasons. First of all, the interior was really impressive in that truck. Plus, they went to production the month after, which is pretty much unheard of in today's truck market. Usually you show something and like 6 months later it comes in a deal lots and you actually can buy the thing. So this was really different back then. Blew the doors off. GM actually had to go through like refresh their entire interior because it looks so, well, worn and tired versus the new Ram interior. And I know Ford took some notes from Ram. I mean, they really raised the bar. So exciting to see something new. So these are spy photos I bought. Again, he takes photos, he sends them to me, I buy them, and I put them on the screen for you guys. I have to put my little background logo, which is what I'm required to do for these photos. Let's throw this down. Boom. So this is the Ram 1500. You can see the cab is probably going to stay the same. Usually this doesn't get that big of a change in mid-cycle refreshes. So if the truck came out in 2019, typically every 7 years, about 3 years in that cycle, you get a mid-cycle refresh, then 7 years is a new model. In this case, Ram's a little behind, and I think they're behind because they're spending a lot of time on the Ram Rev truck and the Ram 1200, which will be unveiled for Brazil market coming up soon. So we're going to see a brand new front fascia. We're going to see new headlights, probably new bumper. And I'm going to guess this has a lot to do with the Ram Rev. So if the Ram Rev is their fully electric version, and they'll probably borrow some of the styling cues from that version of the truck, which typically it happens. You can see the things that aren't camouflage are the same, right? So tow mirrors are the same, the doors are the same, but here is the front fascia. This is, again, they're out product testing this. They're out doing development. This is kind of what they do for the final validation of their changes. Make sure the transmission's working well. Make sure the grill's getting enough air fluid through it so it cools the engine down enough. I mean, these are kind of the validation testing. And so we can see, yeah. So I'm really curious to see what they really do with that front end. Is it going to look like the Ram Rev front end, or is it going to look like just kind of evolution? As we come around, we can see the back is going to be covered up too. So let me go back to this photo, really show you that. Looks like right that little panel below that upper bumper there, that's going to be for your radar settings for the adaptive cruise control, and you can see some of the different cutouts for like parking sensors. That's why those cutouts are there. As we come around the back, we can see this is it's a black crew cab, 5.5 foot bed. Nothing too crazy to see there, but I'm really curious about this back end. So we have a dual tailpipe. Tells me this is probably the 5.7 liter V8 from the Hemi. It's going to be really interesting to see if they keep that engine going or if they start transitioning people to do the Hurricane with that turbocharged engine with more horsepower, more torque, and less CO2 emissions of CO2 grams per mile emitted, which is what seems like everybody's going towards, is the smaller displacement engines with turbos because more power, more horsepower, sometimes better fuel economy, and really it comes down to less CO2 grams per mile of emissions. And we can see, yep, there is the tailpipes there. No big deal there. And as we come around, I'm just curious to know if they're going to do anything else with like a step bumper. So we can see a little bit of right below the tail lights on the left-hand side and the driver's side. There's like the black has kind of been mushed around. Clearly, I've been in a plane for 7.5 hours, so this is a little tired. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But I'm wondering if they're going to do any sort of step bumper like they have other brands have done. They do have that Dutch door 60/40 kind of split bumper, which is pretty cool. But I'm just curious if we can do anything there with that. Oh, come around here one more time. So we can see, looks like the taillights might be changing a little bit. I'd have to really get detailed into this and really look at prior gen, this gen, back and forth. But I'm still waiting to see. I just want to see the full reveal before I do all that kind of deep dive kind of stuff. Looking around, there's your front. It looks like he got parked, or no, he's waiting at the stoplight. So yeah, there's a little bit more in the front. Still can't make out a whole lot with the camouflage, but you guys are pretty eagle-eyed viewers on this channel. I'd be curious to see what you guys see on this, because you guys always give me good data and good information. And we have the air dam down below there, which is pretty typical for most half-ton trucks these days. Better aerodynamic with that air dam. A little bit closer look at that. It's interesting. I'll be really curious to do those headlights. Hopefully they're going to go LEDs. That's been the theme of the channel. People really like LEDs. It's a little bit brighter. You can see better, although you do have the con where if it gets ice and snow on it, it doesn't melt off the ice and snow. Interior-wise, this is going to be the big question. So we can see, hopefully, first of all, both grab handles stay. I don't know why we have such a hard time these days in the automotive world of getting rid of grab handles. I don't know why it gets on a chopping block all the time, but it does. But they really raise the bar on the interior. I mean, it got to the point where GM literally told me, some of their designers told me they dropped the ball. They did not realize that Ram was going to go this far with new interior. So everybody's caught up to them now. I'll be curious to see what they're going to do with that. And you can see that's all covered. They had a refresh, I think, last year, and they did a lot more digital gauges. Excuse me, again, 7.5-hour flight. But I think they did more digital gauges with that and different kind of setup with the interior. As far as the dash behind the driver's screen, but I didn't do a whole lot else as far as changes. And we come around the other side, we can see steering wheel is all the same, but yeah, everything's covered up, which, if that's covered up, that means that maybe change is coming. So again, they really raise the bar with that big vertical screen in there, the Uconnect 12 system I think they have in there now. And what are they going to do else with that? That's going to be the really big question mark on this truck. Are they going to go vertical, stay vertical like they've been doing? They can go horizontal. They can make a big change there. They can do different things. I mean, it's incredible. The Ram trucks, I mean, really, the Uconnect system is so good. It's so crazy how big it is. You have to get used to doing it. But it always takes me a couple days to get used to the system. And even then, I don't feel like I ever get through the system on a 7-day press loan. What I'm going down this road to say is that I have wanted to buy a Ram truck for this channel for a couple of years now. They have never done anything that's been very exciting to be able to do it, Ram truck. So fingers crossed that they do something really massive with this up facelift and really refresh it, and then I can actually buy one of these Ram trucks. I'm hoping they can do the Hurricane engine. I think it'd be a sweet spot, get rid of the Pentastar, maybe even get rid of the Hemi. Who knows? I said that in the video and people took me to task, but it's the way things are going. Look at Toyota. I did that video, then Toyota killed the V8. So does Ram do the same thing? Are they going to be the second automaker not to offer a V8 in a full-size truck? I don't know. There's a lot of debate on V8s, lots of debate on small displacement V6s. We have concerns about high compression engines, oil types, all sorts of good stuff going on with that stuff. So I don't know. I'm very curious what's going to happen with that truck. And clearly, I had one Mai Tai when it came in, but it's time for something else. I'm getting worn out. That's all I got for you guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up. So those are the images. I'm just curious. Keep your comments down below. What are you guys thinking? I will get to them tomorrow. I'll look at those comments. So I can check those out. Make sure you check out those videos on the channel. Pickuptrucktalk.com is the website for all the details we do elsewhere, spec sheets, that kind of stuff, spec comparisons. And again, more stuff coming this week. Really exciting week coming for you guys. Tons of stuff coming out. So hit subscribe, stick around. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road, or aloha down the road. Or isn't that kind of cool behind? That's a pretty view.